Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's interesting to have Senator Mtata here because at some point he will have to draw a line, and this is with no ill will or malice actually or bad intent on him, because he has carved a space for himself as a public interest litigant, but now he has another platform. You know, back then he didn't have a platform that he could perhaps raise some of these issues. But now you have a premium platform as a member of parliament. So somebody may say you have a double chance in life, that you can raise in court and on the floor of the House. I don't think many Kenyans have such privilege as you have, which is a good thing anyway, if you look at it that way. So, Mr. Speaker, I was mentioning that this House has handled impeachments of governors many times. This is not the first time. I think by my count this should be the 11th or 12th. I'm yet to get the right numbers. In the first Senate, the 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, we handled 6 impeachments. 5 of them were by committee. Only 1 was by plenary. Actually, that of the late Governor of Nyeri, then Honorable Nderitu Gachagua. But all the other 5 impeachment motions or proceedings that were brought to this House were handled actually by way of committee. The impeachment of Governor Martin Nyaga Wambora, both 1 and 2, for which our good colleague who's here, and that's part of the reason why we are proposing him to be part and parcel of a committee. Senator Boni Alwale was actually chair of both committees, so comes with historical experience. Of course, the impeachment proceedings against my governor then, Professor Chepkwony, was handled by committee. Same in the impeachment motion against Deputy Governor for Machakos, Bernard Kiala, handled by committee, and Governor Mwangi wa Enria of Muranga. They were all handled. So 5 out of 6 were handled. In the 12th Parliament, which is last Parliament, Mr. Speaker, 5 matters were considered by the Senate. 2 of the matters, that of Honorable Granton Saboja and Ann Mumbi Waiguru, were handled actually by committee. The other 3, that of Mohammed Abdi, Ferdinand Ndungu Waititu, and the very famous one of Mike Gideon Mbuvi Sonko of Nairobi, were handled by plenary. Therefore, what's my point, Mr. Speaker? That either way, this House can proceed to guide, to consider an impeachment motion that has been brought before us. But you want to look at the circumstances, the timing, which one precedes the other. I do not hold in my mind that there is one method that is superior to the other. You'll find people that are saying, why can't we go the plenary way? Others that are saying, why can't we go the committee way? Out of personal experience, and I think I have lots of it, therefore I'm qualified to give a qualified opinion on this, Mr. Speaker, is that both ways are extremely effective. And whichever way that we have pursued it in the past, the Senate has returned the decision either way. There have been moments where we went to the committee and the motion was dropped, or even went to the committee and the charges were upheld, and vice versa when you go to the committee way. I want to propose to the members this afternoon listening to me that we go the committee route, Mr. Speaker, that we grant a committee 11 colleagues of ours who have been given an opportunity to go and listen and read and peruse the documents that have been produced before the Senate, and come and convince this House of whatever finding they will get, either to impeach or to drop the charges. As a House, we shall be gathered again and be granted equally the opportunity to read a further refined report from the 11 colleagues of ours, men and women that I consider to be fully competent. You know, Mr. Speaker, I love the fact that in this House, and if you read the language of a constitution, is that it looks at us as 67 senators. I do not for any reason entertain the thought that there are senators who are better than others. We have different giftings, abilities. Some have been here longer, some have been here. And if you look at the proposal that has come to the committee, or the proposed committee that has been laid before us, has a mix of both. New members, ranking members, whichever. Men, women, elected, specially elected by way of nomination, has all the shades and colors. But of course, as is the nature of human beings, many people will say, why not me? And I want to discourage our colleagues from having such a view to life. Because if we begin transacting the business of parliament and saying that any time a motion perhaps comes before the House, if so-and-so is not included, if myself am not included, then maybe for that particular reason, I may not necessarily support, then we wouldn't be sending a very good precedence about it. So I want to convince the House, and I want to propose to you, colleague senators, that given that this has come during a Christmas break, many of you perhaps were home with your families, with your constituents, with your loved ones, that we give the due attention that can be gotten, especially at this particular time, only by way of a committee, to have the time to listen to the presentations by a county assembly, let the governor come and defend herself as well, and then once the committee has concluded on the work, I'm sure we shall have, and we have by mandate of law, actually by provisions of the County Government Act, we have to be gathered here in the next 10 days and come and listen to the presentation of our colleagues on what they were able to establish in this particular case, Mr. Speaker. I want to also urge members, generally the Special Committee and even members of the Senate, not to be intimidated, because impeachment is not a very easy procedure. People have their opinions. Others want to cast us into a particular painting and lighting. You know, I've seen so much go around. I believe, Mr. Speaker, and I say this with authority, that every time the Senate has gathered itself to consider an impeachment motion, we are guided by the evidence that is provided before us. So there is no need to run a campaign around all the issues that are being brought before us, Mr. Speaker. Oh, this is a particular agenda issue. Many are being biased and things like that. You know, I've seen all these things, and I felt, Mr. Speaker, I'm not speaking about the substance of a motion, but I'm speaking about the placing of Senate and why it is important to respect us as an institution, such that when matters are brought before us, you allow us the latitude, because these are men and women of integrity. They have the wherewithal to know what is right and what is wrong for the country. There's no need to run campaigns around us. Especially, for example, I've seen men being taunted and being reminded. You know, I'm a big champion of women in leadership. And I like when the campaign is run right, but also don't run it in a way that you are castigating men for the wrong reasons. You know, I have followed and I see the debate. We are being told, oh, you know, perhaps this infamous guitar-loving husband, that if it was a spouse of a male governor doing the same things that he's doing, you guys will not have a problem. But I want to challenge them and ask them, please show me the spouse of a male governor who goes into altercation with the leaders of that particular county. You will not find any. You know, therefore, even as we convince the House and speak about the issues that are being brought before this particular, allow the Senate the space to carry out its duty without necessarily running any particular theories around us on what should guide us and what shouldn't. Let members make a decision either way, either to impeach or not to impeach. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues, without taking a lot of time, because I believe we'd wish to hear the opinion of our colleagues, but I plead with you that given the circumstances that we find ourselves in fact, I don't envy members that are going to serve in this committee, because the minute you take up responsibility, you forget about Christmas. You're actually going to spend your Christmas working here in Nairobi, perusing the documents, because immediately on the 27th, or even actually earlier than that, all the way to 24th, you shall be working, perhaps break only on the 25th, which is Sunday, and Monday, the 26th, on 27th, be back at work, so that you're able to conclude, because by 30th of December, this House must make a decision either way, with particular to this. Therefore, I don't even envy these colleagues of ours, because they have got to spend their Christmas working. But what to do, Mr. Speaker, because that is the reason, that's our reason for existence as a House, to protect the interest of our counties, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I want to plead with our colleagues that let us go this particular way, support the establishment of this special committee. There will be opportunities in future, because there are people who've talked to me and have said, Majority Leader, grant me an opportunity. I also want to carry out an investigation. Believe you me, given the way many of these governors are behaving, and I have observed governors for a while, therefore I know we will have very many of them before this House. Perhaps even before February we reconvene, there will be other customers to come and deal with impeachment issues in this House. You'll get the chance to serve in committees, you'll get the chance to serve in special sitting until you will be tired. So while I understand that this is the first one and many people are saying, oh, I wish I was a member, or let's go the plenary way, we will have opportunity either way. The statistics that I've given you have shown that the House actually distributes these things almost on equal measure between special committee and plenary. So we will have a taste of both. I want to request you, I undertake this as your majority leader, that if today we have actually, we go the special committee way, and I plead with you that we go that way, then the next one, we will handle it by way of plenary, like that, until we have a taste of all these things. It's our duty, and we will be convinced. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, without many remarks, I beg to move and request Leader of Minority Senators, retired Justice Tewat Mazayo, to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.